Steve Brine, B-R-I-N-E, MP for Winchester and Chandler's Ford, Member of Parliament.
So first of all, what's it like for you working as part of a coalition government with the party that is your biggest rival for the local seat?
Oh, it's absolutely fine. You know, at the end of the day, the electorate generally gets it right. I think the electorate got it right in '92 when they chose the Conservatives over Neil Kinnock. I think they generally got it right when they chose Tony Blair in '97. And in 2010, the electorate weren't sure. They knew they wanted rid of Gordon Brown. They knew they liked David Cameron, George Osborne, but they weren't sure. So they elected a hung parliament. And when it comes, that's the result of the election. You've got two choices. You either make it work or you go back to the people. Given the economic crisis the country was facing, we had no choice, and we wanted to form a government. We made a big offer to the Liberal Democrats, and they decided to come into government with us, and we're just cracking on with the job. For me, as a backbench MP, just doing my job in my constituency. You know, a lot of that stuff's way over my pay grade, but at the end of the day, you know, the country knows that they want firm government, and I think they're getting it right now. I prefer single-party government, but we're just doing what we've got and dealing with a hung parliament, and that's what you have to do.
So no conflict there?
There's no conflict there at all, no.
Okay.
We're working really well together on some of the big issues, and you know, we are delivering a tax cut for 12 million people, and that feels really good, and we're doing that together in government, and you know, all welcome aboard.
UKIP did very well in Eastleigh last year, and they're doing quite well regionally in the local area. Is there a fear that they pose a real threat to the party now in the European elections and ahead of the general elections?
No, UKIP are a standalone political party. They're perfectly entitled to stand. You know, I don't go in for insults against people who vote for or support UKIP. People who vote for UKIP are passionate people who love their country and just see that as the vehicle to doing it. Yeah, of course, you know, anybody who takes votes from you is a threat, but I think the lesson of the county council elections last year in Hampshire is that UKIP took 5 seats from the Conservatives, 5 seats from the Liberal Democrats. They achieved in Eastleigh what we failed to do for about 20 years, which is beat the Liberal Democrats. So, you know, at the end of the day, people are perfectly entitled to vote UKIP, but my message to people is that it's not a consequence-free vote. You know, it's not just a protest vote. It's far, far more serious than that. You know, if UKIP do really well at the next general election, you will have Ed Balls and Ed Miliband in Downing Street. You won't have the referendum that you care about, and you will have Labour back in charge of the economy that they crashed. People have to answer whether that's what they want, and ultimately then they have to vote. But it's not a consequence-free vote. That's the key message I would say to UKIP voters.
Okay, so given that the Conservative stance on the EU is similar in some ways to UKIP's, why for you would people vote for the Conservatives instead of UKIP?
Quite simple, because we can deliver it. At the end of the day, UKIP are not going to form the next government of the United Kingdom. I suspect they won't even have an MP. Their impact could be to weaken seats where the Conservatives might win the seat, and then let Labour MPs in, or Liberal Democrat MPs in, both of whom, judging by what I've seen, want to deny the people of this country a referendum on our future membership. So the reason to vote Conservative is quite simple. If there's a Conservative government, you'll have a referendum. If there isn't, you won't.
Is there any conflict between the Conservative stance on the EU and the Liberal Democrat stance on the EU?
Oh yeah, it's a complete conflict, yeah. Completely split on the subject. We want to give people a say. You know, I'm 40 years old. I was 2 last time, or just 2, last time there was a referendum in this country on our membership of the European Union. I think it's high time, given how many of our laws, how much of our country is controlled from Brussels, I think it's high time that we ask people about that. Liberal Democrats take a different view on that. I know where I'd rather be come the ballot box, but that's up to them to answer for. So there's a complete disparity between our positions on that. We want a referendum, they don't. We are Eurosceptic and believe in the sovereignty of Great Britain. They don't seem to. It's up to them to answer the people as to why.
And how does that work within the coalition with their pro-EU views?
Quite simple. You know, we are the lead party in government. We have a policy that we want to deliver a referendum. We can't deliver a referendum now because we don't have a majority in Parliament to do it. If the Liberal Democrats want to support a referendum and campaign to stay in, they could give us that referendum straight away. But they don't want to do that, and nor does the Labour Party. So, you know, we just carry on focusing on the big economic plan, which is what the government is all about, and why the government came into being, which is to repair the economy and reform public services and reform welfare, which we're doing. And we just take a different view on some of those things. At the end of the day, it's just grown-up politics. You know, we take a different view on things. You know, what's the news story?
And then finally, the Tory party at the moment has quite a negative reputation with younger people. why, in your mind, would younger people and particularly students vote for the Conservatives?
Well, as I said, the government came together to repair the economy that we inherited from Gordon Brown. And ultimately, what we're about as a government is repairing the economy, making it robust, making it strong, creating jobs. We've created 1.6 million new private sector jobs since the election. And as far as I'm concerned, young people care about having a job market that they can go into when they come out of courses like we're seeing here at the University of Winchester. They care that they can get on the housing ladder and have an income to allow them to do that. So are we building new houses? Are we creating an economy where there are jobs for them to go to? Young people, old people, everybody cares about those issues. I don't think young people are any different.